Hello everybody, welcome to today's assembly. I'm not going to tell you what our theme for assemblies is at the moment. I'm going to ask you to guess after having a look at some of these pictures and discussing them either with your teacher or with your parents and carers at home or even with your brothers and sisters perhaps. So I'm going to show you a few photos first of all. The first one I've got is running a race. Okay, I've got a photo there running a race and you can see from the image that this is the very start of a race, before the starter's pistol has even been fired. Okay, let's have a look at the next picture. The next picture is little baby chicks hatching from an egg. Can you think of a connection between people starting a race and chicks hatching from an egg? I'm just having to imagine you all sat in assembly in front of me at the moment and certain people's hands up really for some ideas. I know Charlie's got her hand up, she's going to have an idea. I think I can see Marcus there at the back, he's often got his hand up in assembly with ideas. Is there a link between those two pictures you can think of? Let's have a look at another. Give us a further clue. Newborn kittens. Okay, you might be able to think of a link between two of the photos now, but perhaps not all three. Certainly I can think of one between... I've got new baby chicks there, I've got new baby kittens there, so there's a link, isn't there? Okay, we've got the very start of a race, and then have we got the very start of something else in those two photos? Okay, let's look at another one. Ooh, this is different. So instead of the start of life, I've now got learning to fly. Perhaps you can see a link there between learning to fly and the running in the first picture. Tell the person who's with you what link you can think of from this picture and the start of the race. Okay, let's try another picture there. I think we're starting to knit it together a little bit more now. We've got babies again. Newborn baby. Okay, the word I keep coming back to. Let's see if there's any hands up. I can see a few more hands up now. Certainly Jacob's got his hand up at the very back of the hall. A couple more of the house captains have got their hands up at the back as well. Thank you. Okay, right, so let's just flick through a few of those. At the very start of a race, the very start of life in these pictures, with the chicks and the kittens. And this is the start of trying something new, isn't it? Learning to fly. You might not know, but lots of birds, when they first learn to fly, it's pretty hard to practice flying when you start from high up in the sky, like a nest, for example. And lots of birds, their first flight is literally straight out of the nest, so they've got to be able to do it. And then we've got the start of life again in this picture. Okay, so the word I keep using is start so far. I wonder if that's going to help us find our connection. Ooh, caterpillars turning into butterflies. Wow, that's actually a time-lapse. Bit of a time-lapse photo you've got there. You've got the different stages of the caterpillars turning into the butterfly. It's been pasted across the leaf. We made butterflies in my garden quite recently, starting with caterpillars, and they went through this metamorphosis. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've kind of got the start of life, in that we've got the start of a butterfly's life, but the caterpillar becomes the butterfly, so it's not the very start of the butterfly's life, because the butterfly was a caterpillar beforehand. The caterpillar doesn't die and then a new butterfly is born. The caterpillar metamorphosizes, it becomes a butterfly. It's quite an unusual thing to happen in the animal kingdom, but it happens to a few animals, including butterflies. So have we still got the start of something though? I think this links nicely with the learning to fly picture. We've got the starting our first flight as the duck there. And then we've got starting our first day as a butterfly. So the words I've used start and I've used first. So perhaps now you can start thinking of what my theme might be, what my theme for assembly might be. Oh! Happy New Year! Well, that often marks the beginning of things for people, doesn't it? Lots of people have New Year resolutions where they want to start the year right. Okay, so some important words over those past few photographs. We've got start for starting a race and starting out with new life. We've got new, newborn kittens. We've got first, our first flight, or our first day as a butterfly. So start, new, and first. I think those feel a lot like a connection, don't you? And the connection that I think all of those pictures have, I could use the phrase new beginnings. And that's what I want you to think about as an assembly theme this week. New beginnings. All of us have found out now about our new beginning in September. In September, it's going to be new for all of us. We're all going to be in slightly different classrooms. We're all going to be with different children and different teachers. So it's going to be quite new. It's going to be the beginning of something. We're also going to have 30 children in our class again, or certainly more children than we have at the moment for most of us. So that will be the start of something new, but also feels a bit like going back to something that we've done before. So September I want you to think about as a new beginning, and this time of year there's always lots to think about because actually, although September seems very close because we're doing our Meet the New Teacher days over the next couple of Fridays and things like that, so it's something we're thinking about at the moment. We wouldn't want it to, normally I'd be saying we wouldn't want it to stop us from really enjoying the last couple of weeks of term and really focusing on our current classes and our current teachers, but of course we're all in slightly different places at the moment, aren't we? Lots of us are at home and some of us are in school with a different teacher to who we've had earlier in the year. So there have been a lot of new beginnings throughout the last few months. When you begin something new, it can make you feel a little bit funny. I wonder if anybody can guess why I put that photo there. That was not a photo, it's an X-ray. One or two of you have had X-rays recently when you've been to the hospital, unfortunately. I don't think you'd have seen any of these animals on your X-ray though. You can probably guess that this is actually a pretend X-ray. But this is an X-ray of somebody's stomach, and those are obviously butterflies, and you may have heard the phrase butterflies in your stomach. And that links all these pictures too. On sports day, Mr. Dyer's about to blow the whistle to start the race. Sometimes you can feel a little bit nervous. You can feel a little flutter in your tummy, and those are where we get the phrase butterflies in your tummy. You don't really have any butterflies in there, but it feels like it because your tummy's a bit unsettled, and that's because you're nervous and also excited. You might feel the same if you were learning to fly. I'm sure that must be a very nervous experience for those young birds. When we're starting something new, it makes us feel a little bit funny. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with feeling those butterflies in your tummy. In fact, it's a really natural feeling to have, and it's one that helps us get excited about new things. So you might notice that you feel a few butterflies at the moment. Maybe it's about coming into school for the first time in a long time, this Friday or next Friday. Maybe you haven't been into school since the shutdown, and actually just coming into school for the first time might make you feel like you've got a few butterflies in your tummy. Maybe it's because next year you're going to meet with a new teacher, and you don't know who he or she is yet. You've not met them before. That can make you feel a little bit funny. Or maybe you've got to learn with some new children in September. maybe one of your good friends is in a different class to you next year. That can make you feel a bit nervous because you're used to having them in your classroom. You're used to being able to see them all the time. That can make you feel like you've got butterflies in your tummy too. For lots and lots and lots of you, you've seen these pictures before. I always like to share them at this time of year, and I'd remind you that 1 year ago, lots of us had butterflies in our tummy about September because we were finding out our new teachers' names and our new children's names for our classes. But when we looked at these again at the end of September, we didn't have them anymore. And because of all the hard work of our friends and our teachers, we felt really calm and settled and positive about our new class. And you will too. You soon will, as soon as you've met your new teacher and your new friends, be it at one of our transition days coming up this week and next week, or for some of you that might just be in September. So please don't worry if you feel like you've got a few butterflies in your tummy at the moment. That's perfectly normal to feel that way, and we'll all help each other to make sure that we're feeling really positive for September. So this week's theme is New Beginnings, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.